Ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do it.
So, welcome guys to Toxicity 101. This is our first video of a five-part mini series that we're doing, one on each essential. So, make sure you guys tune in every week so you can get all of this awesome information.
Yep.
Here we go. Take 5,000.
All right. So the three T's of chiropractic. This is a really simple idea that the spine can become misaligned in one of three ways: through thoughts, through traumas, and toxins. Today, toxicity is the focus, and we'll probably tie in some of the other two. And over time, we'll of course hit them a little heavier so that we can get a pretty solid breakdown on how to keep the spine in line so that the body can function at optimal rate.
Yeah,
All right, let's
awesome.
do it.
So what is a toxin?
It's really go for it.
Pretty simple, right? It's really any substance or chemical that we come in contact with in our day-to-day lives. And over time, or with too many, they can really cause a lot of damage to our body. And this is so dangerous because if you think about the fact from the time you wake up to when you go to bed, how many chemicals we're putting on our body, ingesting in our skin, breathing in, we're just overloading our bodies.
Yeah, you can really think about even just looking at what you do in the morning from the time you wake up, just by the time you end up leaving the bathroom when you're getting ready throughout the course of the day, your things like products like toothpaste, your soap, shampoo, conditioner, what kind of detergent did you have on your towel? What kind of chemicals are in your makeup, your deodorant, aftershave, perfume, what's the quality of your coffee? And you haven't even left the house yet. So, and if we can take one step back, the goal for today is not to scare anybody. We're not here to preach doom and gloom and to tell you that you're doing terrible things by any stretch. The goal for today is really just education and to open people's eyes so that they can perhaps take a proactive look at what they're using, what they're putting on or in their body, so that they can ultimately lead the healthiest life possible. And making sure that it's toxin free or toxin minimized for that matter is very important.
Yeah, I want to add to that because this talk can be overwhelming if you are thinking of all the millions of ways that you can stay away from toxins. If you just start with one area of your home or your body, this month I'm going to work on cleaning out my kitchen, or these 2 months, and then next step would be going to the bathroom. It's a little bit easier to take it. How do you eat an elephant?
One
One
bite
bite
at
at
a
a time.
time. There you
Yeah.
go.
So, all right. So, what do all these toxins do to us, Dr. Jim?
So really, what you're looking at, so this screen specifically, these are some of what we'll call the more major things that we'll see. I mean, think about autoimmunity. Autoimmune is used in a medical context all the time this day and age, whereas 20, 30, 40 years ago, it was unheard of or very rare. But you look at all the different diseases and the issues that people are dealing with this day and age, we have to consider that there's an environmental factor.
Oh, yeah.
And with an environmental factor, we have to look at, what's the quality of the environment? What are we eating? What are we drinking? What are we breathing? What do we put on our skin? And how does that ultimately affect the body? Because we know, and this isn't just a possibility. We know that toxin exposure creates a weakened immune system. We know it can lead to allergies, asthma, things like birth defects, cancer, hormone changes, you name it. So the goal is really to try and minimize the toxicity so that the things on this screen they can be avoided, hopefully across the board. And we know that the majority of issues that people deal with from a medical perspective, they're most of them are really linked to lifestyle choices. And if it's something that we can have a positive impact on or determine a positive future with, we want to make better choices. And I'm sure everybody that may be watching this does too.
Yeah, you made a good point there. I think the stat right now is 80% of chronic conditions are lifestyle related. So this plays perfectly into that because these are lifestyle choices. And if you look at, no one wants cancer, right? That's one of the scariest diagnoses you can get. Or if you look at things like anxiety or depression, we have 60% of Gen Zers on a medication for those. What if we could just get rid of some of the toxins in our life, help clean up our body, and then we wouldn't have the need for those kind of medications.
The
So,
one thing we can say is that right now, disease rates are higher than they used to be. And if toxicity plays a role in that, I would think that it would be worth making sure we take a deep dive into making sure we're as toxic free as can be.
Yeah. So where do we look for those toxins?
So the most common sources, and you can, go online, you can Google this, you can look at all kinds of different sources from the CDC to the NIH, but the simple areas that you'll find are really the ones that are lurking around the house. Your pots and your pans. I'll let Dr. Nicole
Cosmetics.
cover that one. Storage containers, water, processed food, personal care products. Medications, there's a reason why medications say do not consume, or if you take too many to contact poison controls, because too much of it is not is certainly not going to not going to be good for you. And then cleaning products, what are we using? What are we putting on our countertops, in our stoves, and then ultimately breathing in or touching, for that matter.
Yeah, I think a easy way to say that is anything we put on or in our body or whatever it was stored in would also be
Absolutely
very important. So, yeah,
it's a good question. Does
yeah.
it?
I mean, it does, but we overload it. That one slide said over 100,000 chemicals are lurking in our products. So if we think about the oil filter in our car, when you go get an oil change, you get your oil filter changed, right? Because the junk in there is just building and building. Well, we can't do an oil or we can't do a liver change, could, but
Don't recommend it.
we don't want to do that. So what we need to do is help out the kidneys and the liver and our lungs even because they help detox and not overload them and then help them to detox because we have been overloading them.
And it's really, you break it down, it's your five biggest detox organs are your cells, your blood, your liver, your kidney, and your gut. And we want to make sure we take care of those as much as possible. And we'll go through some different ways on how to do that in a healthy fashion.
Yeah. So biggest thing is what we drink, the most important thing,
Got
right?
to start with water.
Yeah.
Water, even when you look into nutrition or you talk about people that want to lose weight, the first thing to focus on is always going to be water. And why is water more important than food? Well, because think about your timeline. How long can you go without water versus how long can you go without food? Water is what quite literally keeps everything fluid in the body. If you don't have enough water, everything dries up.
Right.
It doesn't,
But it has to be clean water.
But it has to be clean water, absolutely. And the higher the quality of the water, the higher the quality of the function of your body. Because if you're drinking toxic water, then your body is going to absorb whatever you put into it. And if you drink common tap water, I can't really speak to the statistics across the country, but I can tell you for the most part, if you're drinking tap water here locally in Florida, you're not doing yourself any favors. Even if you were to utilize an over-the-counter or just a standard filter of any sort, it beats not using a filter at all. The better the filter, the better the quality of the water.
Yeah. And the Environmental Working Group actually looked this up. They have where you can type in your zip code and it tells you the stuff that's in your water near you. So here in Jacksonville, we're high in chlorine.
Very, very high in chlorine.
Would you go to your backyard if you had a swimming pool and take a glass of water and drink it? Because that's almost exactly what we're doing here in Jacksonville. We have that much chlorine in our water. And then we think of the fluoride, the pesticides, the medications.
Yes, there are medications, and the tests have shown that there are some medications do filter through and do end up in tap water. As crazy as it sounds, it's true. So some kind of a filter would be a good idea. If you're not sure what to get, because there are 10 million different kinds of filters that you can get. You can go everything from a whole home system, which filters out all the water that goes through your drinking water, your cleaning water, your shower, down to a simple on-the-counter drinking filter. Something is better than nothing. And if you have questions or if you're not sure if it's a good filter or whatnot, contact us. I'd be happy to take a look and talk with you about what we have and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I do use the clearly filtered pitcher because I rent, so I can't have one installed in my home, and it cleans out pretty much everything. So we get nothing from if you get one. Just go to their website and order it. But it's $80 to get the pitcher and your first filter, and then they do an auto ship based off your usage, and you don't even have to think about it. And it's $40 to replace it. So it's actually really affordable because I think I do it quarterly. So if I was doing bottled water, I'd be spending way more than that. And then what am I getting when I'm drinking bottled water?
We'll get into that with plastics.
Okay.
All
All right,
right.
on to the
So,
next.
uh,
Ooh,
really simple. What you cook with is important. The quality of the tools you use to cook is very important. For reference sake, look up Teflon flu or Teflon fever. If you don't know what Teflon is, I'll just go Google it. Look up Teflon. It's usually going to be a coating that goes onto your nonstick cookware. And when it's heated, it can give off vapor that interferes with the way that your body works. You know, toxic fumes. Everybody's seen a movie or a TV show where they had to put on a face mask because toxicity was released into the air. This is something you could be doing in your own kitchen and you're not even aware of it. It leads to things like headaches, coughs, chills, or sore throat. And you would probably attribute it to, oh, I'm coming down with the flu or I'm getting a cold. And it could just be as simple as you're cooking with the wrong stuff. The go-to for us would ultimately be stainless steel. You can use ceramic. The big thing that we recommend if you're utilizing some version of ceramic is that if it starts to chip, you have to get rid of it because you definitely don't want that chipping off into your food, and you may not notice it if there's tiny particles going through there. But stainless steel is a very good one. There are some non-toxic non-sticks out there, but you have to make sure that you're looking and you know exactly what you're buying. Otherwise, it's not going to be your friend. If you're out there buying a $5 or a $7 pot or a pan and it says nonstick, I can tell you that it's probably not high quality and low toxicity. And when you heat that stuff, it just
it's so bad for you. That's like when it smokes and it's bad enough it can kill birds.
yep,
Did you know that?
yeah,
That's
I
insane.
did.
If it kills birds, what is it doing to us?
Killing us slowly.
Because didn't we used to put birds, mind me,
Canary in
into
a coal mine.
yeah, in a
Yeah,
coal mine to make sure the air was breathable.
absolutely.
But and then if we had it in our house and our pots and pans could be killing the bird, how bad is that for us? So yeah, stainless steel. I know we get the argument. It's not always easy to clean. You heat up the pan, throw a little hot white vinegar, and then you like add the salt in there. Heat it up. Whatever you cook will come right off. So, and if you are cooking food that's sticking that badly, we might need to talk about your cooking techniques a little bit.
What about
So,
cast iron? We use cast iron.
yeah, love cast iron. You turned me on to that actually. So. And then to go with the pots and pans though, because now we're on plastics, I just had the thought, you know, the spoons and the what am I spatulas that you use. If you're using plastics for there in your pan, you're heating that up, little pieces chip off. Oh, it got damaged in the dishwasher. Now it's in your food and you're eating plastic. And this
And you don't realize it because it's microplastic. It's so small you don't actually see it. But microplastics will absolutely affect your hormones. This isn't my personal thought. You can look up the research on it. It's all there. Which is the reason why we don't recommend drinking bottled water, because what most people don't realize is that most bottled water had to be transported from something. And I'm not sure if you've ever taken a ride on a 53-foot trailer, but those big metal trailers that sit on the back of the 18-wheelers that run across the roads, they get hot inside, and when you heat plastic, you soften it, and then it ends up becoming part of the drinking water, and now you're drinking microplastics, and you definitely don't want to be doing that. You won't be doing yourself any favors. Uh, Please don't put your plastic in the microwave. If you have a microwave, if you're still using a microwave, please don't put it in, and please don't put plastic tubs or bins or quote unquote microwave safe bowls in the microwave. They get super heated and they will absolutely leach into your food. Uh, use an oven safe dish. Use glass. You will absolutely do yourself a favor by getting rid of plastic in as much as you can.
yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, they say that we consume like credit cards worth of plastic every year.
That doesn't sound tasty.
No, it's horrible for us. So cosmetics. This is a hard one for a lot of us. Because if you're like me and you like to wear makeup on an almost daily basis, it's hard. It's definitely hard to switch over, especially when you're used to the same product or company that we've been using. But if you think about the fact you're putting this on your skin every single day, and what happens to stuff we put on the skin, Dr. Jim?
It gets absorbed.
Yes, it does. And they are using things that are, they took the red dye out of foods recently. We'll get to that in a little bit. but it's been banned in cosmetics for years now. That's just red dye, and that those things don't get taken out until they harm enough people. So they're making these products with things like lead, thallium, cadmium, arsenic. Arsenic,
Arsenic's not good for you?
really, is don't you can't you like poison people
Let's not
and
talk
to
about
take them
that. We
out
don't
that
want
way? And
Watch
these
too many movies.
I think it was a Romeo and Juliet thing. Anyway, we're putting it on our skin and then we absorb it. And then it stays inside of us because we're not doing the right things to detox. And then it builds over time, over and over and over. And then we get we're diagnosed with autoimmune. And it's like, well, where did this come from? Well, you put that stuff on your skin every single day.
We probably need to throw a disclaimer in there. That this is for educational purposes. This is not 100% medical advice. We highly recommend when making medical decisions to do so with
Call us.
with your physician. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
you were saying.
but it is true. I mean, and think about the fact, what was it that Dr. Jake used to share at his toxicity talk about how embalmers are using less embalming fluid today than they were 60 years ago because
They don't need to.
putting preservatives on our skin on a daily basis and
eating it and
Yeah.
drinking it. Don't even know it.
and we're preserving our bodies as we're alive. So
To keep it really simple, your skin is your largest organ, active functioning organ. And if you're covering up your pores, you're not allowing your skin to breathe. And if your skin can't breathe, well, we know what happens when a living thing stops breathing.
Yeah.
So,
and we'll have a link. There will be a link here in the description that will go to our Drive shared folder that will have other companies, and then we're going to talk about that places to look for healthier cosmetics. So next we're looking at
cleaners and
cleaning
disinfectants. Pretty simple. If you have to wear rubber gloves to use it, it's probably not good for you. I mean, think about bleach. Can you drink bleach?
No,
No, absolutely not. Should never think about it. Don't ever drink bleach. Should you drink antifreeze?
probably not.
I don't think that's going to be on the menu.
Also a way to poison someone.
Also, yeah, we don't. So we don't want to. If we have to wear rubber gloves, it's probably because we're not supposed to touch it. Well, if you're not supposed to touch it, you're probably not supposed to breathe it.
Yeah.
But anything that you use rubber gloves with, bleach, for instance, if you're cleaning out a bathtub and you're using bleach, you don't want to be smelling that, which that there is toxic. So we have to figure out a way. What can we do to clean things without exposing ourselves to different types of toxins, things like formaldehyde or chlorine or ammonia. There's tons that you can look. If it looks up, if you see on the side of the bottle, must be in a ventilated room or do not perform with the windows closed, you know it's toxic. That's why the warning is on there. So, and that's on most. I would say most cleaners have that, use in a ventilated room or do not breathe, or if ingested, contact poison control. You know it's toxic. They're quite literally telling you. So we've got to minimize that.
Yeah. And you said the thing about the gloves, and I know like a lot of people, oh, well, I clean the counters with my gloves and then kind of wipe it down. Well, that residue is still on there.
Did you get all of it?
Yeah. And then you're going to touch it. So now we're absorbing it. And oh, I'm preparing my food here. So now it's getting in my food. So it's a little bit deeper than just, this is in a bottle and it's okay for me. It's not okay for you.
Right.
Oof.
This is a tough one because a lot of people are unfortunately in a place to where they're utilizing medication. And we're not telling you that you shouldn't take your medication. What we're telling you is that if you're somebody who is currently on a medication routine, our simple advice would be we got to figure out how to get you off. Whether that be through foods and exercise, minimizing toxicity, all of the above are applicable. But if you're currently on a life-saving medication, okay, well, we understand that. But if you're somebody who is on what we'll call a forever medication that's simply not doing anything but keeping you exactly where you are, there's probably a way to figure out, okay, what can I do to improve my station or my health, if you will, and figure out a method to kind of back this down or to come down off of it. And even on that, if you're utilizing over the counters, it's a Band-Aid. I'm not here to tell you you're doing anything wrong, but I am here to tell you that there is a better way. We
Yeah.
simply have to figure out what that way is. An ibuprofen, an Aleve, a Tylenol. Um, we got to figure out what do we need to do, or what can you do in order to not have to utilize things that are actually bad for you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there's a cause for every single thing that happens in our body. So finding the cause and healing that is what ultimately can help us to get off of those medications. And we don't take anyone off of medications. That is not our training. We're not licensed to do it. But what we are amazing at is helping patients find those root causes, um, find ways to change it, and then allowing their body to heal. And even if you're going through that healing process still, and you might say, okay, I need something, antacid is up there. I need something like an antacid. Well, there are things out there like ginger and fennel and that don't have side effects that you could take to help you get through that process to where you're healing again. And then the antibiotics, I mean, they say one round of antibiotics kills your gut health for like 6 months.
up to 50%.
That's insane. So then I don't know if you guys have ever tried to heal a gut, but it's a lot of work and it's a lot of supplementation. It's a lot. So you're better off just not doing them in the first place and using more natural means.
Wherever possible, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So toxic foods. We got to get rolling. We're
running tight on time. Okay, so toxic foods, fried foods, packaged foods, GMO foods, artificial colors, and artificial sweeteners. You can really boil this down by saying fake food. Because if a real food, if you go to the grocery store, real food doesn't actually have an ingredients label on it. If it has an ingredients label, it's a product. A real food just comes with a barcode. That's it. Just scan it. It's an avocado. It's a piece of steak. You name it. If it's food, it doesn't have an ingredients label. So to keep it simple, because we're going to hit this a lot next week when we do, I think we're doing nutrition next week. We'll hit this a lot next week when we do our nutrition video like this. But to keep it simple, the United States allows for 10,000 chemically produced or industrially produced industrial chemicals in our foods. To give you an idea, in comparison, China allows between 2 to 3,000, and in Europe, they allow a staggering 400. Which, how do we allow 10,000 and Europe allows 400? Well, to boil it down, they operate under what's called the precautionary principle. I know this is going to sound crazy, but their thought is if it could be harmful to our people, we're not going to use it. Our thought process is through the FDA that we operate under the you must prove that it's harmful and show us that people have died, and then we'll take it off. I mean, it's a crazy concept to
really
try to protect the people and not worry so much about money, but who am I to judge, I suppose.
Yeah.
So yeah, our foods are not what they need to be. There's a reason why you can buy, let's just use macaroni and cheese, which I don't recommend anyways. But if you look at the ingredients in macaroni and cheese that are produced or made in the United States versus the exact same product sold by the exact same company, the ingredients are different because in Europe, you're not allowed to use certain ingredients because they're looking out for the people. So
you bring that craft up, and remember when we were kids and we used to eat a pickle wrapped in a piece of cheese?
Yeah.
Do you know they're called Kraft singles now? They're not even called Kraft cheese anymore. They're called Kraft singles. They can't have cheese on the name because it's not actually cheese.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's like one chemical away from plastic. It's insane. And then if you think about things like MSG, we have nerve damage, heart issue, aspartame. If you guys don't know that aspartame is bad by now, get out of that rock. And then we could go on and on. We'll dive into this a little bit more in our nutrition one. But it basically food by God, not food by man, right?
Really simple, because if it's chemically made or produced, it's not natural. And if it's not natural, the body doesn't recognize it. And if the body doesn't recognize it, it's toxic. So minimizing detoxing toxins in a healthy fashion, really simple. You give the body what it needs and it'll do what it's supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. So you want to take this or you want to?
Okay.
There are actual specific foods that you can take or that you can ingest that will help to detox your body. So boost up that detoxification process. So things like berries. Start your morning with a berry smoothie. It's the easiest thing to do. Or berries and yogurt. They have antioxidants, phytochemicals. Cruciferous.
Vegetables.
Yeah, what do those do?
So, like broccoli or cauliflower, they can really help to increase your glutathione production, which is a major antioxidant in the body, and it's really the body's most powerful antioxidant, if you will.
Yeah.
And they're going to give you tons. They're packed with nutrients, and the nutrients are really what uh, help your detoxification system to function at an optimal level and to help get rid of the things that you don't want to be holding on to. And omega-3 fatty acids, turmeric, things that are anti-inflammatory, and help the liver function. It's which is the arguably the biggest part of your detox pathways, but giving the body what it needs so that it can do what it's supposed to is really the goal. And one of the big things I would say is that the detoxification process is important, yes, but you got to remember if you're concerned with detoxification, you have to first the number one step has to be to remove
Toxins.
toxins by not retoxifying. So yes, we want to detox the body, we want that to function, but you have to stop retoxifying the body so that it can detoxify. Because if all you do is keep adding to your toxicity, it doesn't matter how well you try to focus on getting the organs functioning, they'll never be able to do it if all you do is keep bombarding them with more toxicity.
Yeah, we didn't use our bucket analogy,
We
but
didn't.
it's like you have a bucket filled with water and you just keep pouring the water and eventually it overflows and that's when we're super toxic and we get sick. But I think what you're saying is if we poked a tiny hole in the side and we let a little water run out, but we're still dumping gallons of water in at the same time, we're not actually helping fix anything at all.
Right.
Right. So then those foods are a great way to jumpstart your detox process in the body. But if you really want to get in there and get some real detoxing going, our supplement, the detox system, is amazing at that. It's a two-part system. You take one in the morning that binds to your cell or binds to the toxins in the cells, pulls them out of the cells, and then the one at night actually helps to detox everything and eliminate everything out of the body. It's awesome. It has activated charcoal in it, which we know is great for detoxing every inch of your body. Milk thistle and dandelion help support the liver and gallbladder. Milk thistle actually helps to get rid of heavy metals. Learned that recently. So yeah, this is an awesome supplement to take. It's not a cleanse. You're not going to be running to the bathroom.
No emergency bathroom breaks.
Yeah. If anything, actually, our assistant just started taking it, and it's helping her to be more regular. But a crazy thing, her husband's taking it too. He was going to the bathroom 6 to 8 times a day.
Wow.
Now he's down to 3. So if you're going too much, this can help regulate that. If you're not going enough, it can also help.
Is there anything special you have to do when you're taking the detox?
Yes, one main thing, and all you have to do.
Careful, I know it's a dangerous thing.
I know. Drink water.
Drink more water.
Drink more water.
So that you can, why do we want to drink more water?
Flush it out.
So we can help the body get rid of what it needs to.
Same as if you were cleaning your shower, you're going to pour water over it after you clean to wash away all that dirt you just cleaned off of.
There's a common theme here. Water, water, water.
Yeah. Yeah. Water is super important. So if you guys want to grab a box of that, it's a 30-day supply. You can get it on our website or you can come into the office and grab it. We'll also have a link for that if you want to buy it on our website. But if you want to save on shipping, stop on by anytime. We have some up at the front desk.
And if you have questions, please let us know. We're happy to answer them for you. The quality of supplements matters.
Yeah,
this is really simple. If you garbage in, garbage out. If what you're taking, and this is the reason why this is important is because you can go online and you can go into any quick stop. You can go to the gas station, and I'm sure I know that the one closest to where I buy our gas, near the office. I know they sell supplements. I went in there. I was talking to the front desk person.
The gas station.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I couldn't believe it because the credit card machine thing was out there, wasn't working. Anyways, so talking to them, they started selling supplements the last few months, and it's the quality of the supplements that you take matters. Now, this isn't to say that the most expensive supplements are the best. However, the cheapest are not going to be where you want to invest your money. The supplement is quite literally that. It's meant to supplement your diet. And if you're paying money to get a vitamin, you should be able to get that vitamin, which means you need to be able to absorb that vitamin. So you want to stick with whole foods. You want non-processed supplements. You want supplements that are of high quality, but are also grown where they're supposed to be grown and in a proper environment that's not filled with toxicity. If you're taking a supplement that's been sprayed with a toxin, you don't want to be taking that supplement. It's just going to be causing damage or harm. And if you can't absorb it here again, then it really just becomes really expensive urine. And that's quite literally that's you're paying for
Yeah.
expensive urine.
Like Dr. Jim said, they have to be whole food based, and you want to make sure they're third party tested. If they're not, you do not know what you're ingesting. And I say that because they studied, someone went out and did a study of, I'm going to name them.
In Target, Walmart,
Yeah.
GNC,
CVS,
all kinds.
and they found things like heavy metals in these. They had stuff that was not even listed on the bottle.
Sawdust was a big one.
Yeah. You want to pay $40 and take sawdust as your multivitamin?
Or even $20. I mean, you know, the top selling multivitamin online doesn't mean the best quality. It just means the cheapest one that people are willing to purchase in large fashion.
They had good marketing.
And they had really good marketing. That's
yeah. So you want to buy quality supplements, and that's another reason why that detox is so amazing, because it is, everything in it is natural. Made from God, not man.
So how to discover clean alternatives? Well, really simple. We're going to have a link to our drive to where you can always make your own. I mean, if you go good old fashioned distilled white vinegar and lemon oil, it cleans almost anything. Or you can check out the go ahead and scan the barcode up here. You can go to cleaners and they will there's tons of solid info at the EWG. They'll talk about the chemicals that are actually in products, the levels of toxicity. So if you're wondering how toxic is this because I don't want to give it up, or is it in my best interest to give it up? Cosmetics, also check that one out, and it's really simple. It's very solid and research-based information that can be helpful for you, and also more importantly helpful for your health.
So a fun one.
How exercise releases toxins? Well, you get moving.
Yeah.
It moves your blood. Right? You sweat. That, you know, getting the body moving moves your blood through your body. It helps to recycle the waste in your body. It helps to get things processing. You get new oxygen to the tissues through better blood delivery, and then ultimately we sweat and get rid of the things that we don't need. And that's definitely one way that it helps. But the process of exercise is going to help your body to function more efficiently, because as it helps to regulate hormones, it's going to help your detoxification process improve. And that's ultimately what the goal is for this whole talk.
Yeah. And we'll get more into exercise. We're not going to hit too hard on this because we have a whole talk on exercise that we'll be doing in a couple weeks. But it is essential for detoxing. And one thing, like you said, breathing or lungs, we release more toxins through our breath than any other way in our body, because you're breathing constantly. And every time you breathe out, that's toxins being released. Yeah.
Got stress.
Yeah. So, wow. That guy is
he does not look like he's having fun.
I wonder how many people's deaths actually look like that.
I think it's 60 to 70% of Americans right now are in an unhappy job situation. And if you're in an unhappy job situation, I have to believe that that's got to be stressful, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Because you go there every day. Well 5-6 days a week.
Well, even if just the picture alone is the clutter from it is stressful.
Yeah.
And you have to think about how much lighter your home or your office space feels when it's clean and there's not clutter everywhere.
Yeah. Can we talk about that for a second?
Go for it.
Yeah. Do yourself a favor. Take a couple hours on a weekend, or 1 hour every weekend, and for that hour, pick a room in your house and declutter it.
You will feel better. You will just feel better instantly when you walk into the room and there's not things laying all over the place, all over the floor. A big mess, if you will. And I think because it literally frees your mind, because even though you may think that it doesn't affect you or that it doesn't bother you, if you have clutter, it absolutely impacts you. You've just figured out or learned over time how to deal with it.
I think I read somewhere like how you have your environment, your car, your house, that's a direct reflection of what you have going on up in your head.
Oh boy.
So if you're like a very messy, cluttered person, you're most likely very messy, cluttered in your brain. So, but that's not even why
But yeah,
what we were
absolutely.
going to talk about. So, stress
Can stress be toxic?
so toxic. It puts us into fight or flight mode, and nobody wants to be there because that is just bad,
So we
right?
want it in small doses, right?
I mean, you can't completely avoid stress.
No.
You can cut toxic people out of your life. You can look for a new job. You can do things to avoid it at all costs, but no matter what, you're going to get hit with it.
It's like
Someone is going to make you mad. Somebody's going to cut you off driving. You're going to have a family member get mad at you. Your kids are going to make you angry.
bills will never stop coming.
Yeah.
It's like a bill that you have to pay. If you think about it, stress is really. If you don't pay it, what happens? They send you another bill.
Yeah, they do.
And except this time, it comes with the added, oh, well, you got a penalty fee with it. Well, stress in the same way does the same thing. Over time, it builds up, just like go back to the bucket. It builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and if you don't deal with it or figure out how to, because you can't get rid of it, but if you figure out how to manage it, then ultimately you don't run into that problem where the bucket gets filled and it flows over. Well, with stress, if too much stress builds up, you end up in a very unfortunate situation. The research shows that stress is the number one cause of diseases, illness, or hospital or doctor's visits every day, every year, and everywhere.
Yeah.
So the stress that you have in your life, we have to be able to, one, minimize stress where you can,
Yeah.
but two, determine how can I best manage the stress that I'm going to incur throughout the course of the day. And it really starts with the way you wake up.
Yeah, you have to set yourself up, put yourself up here so that when you get hit with all that stuff, you're here instead of starting down here and being even lower. And can I go on to
Go
that?
for it.
Okay. So yeah, if we wake up and we instantly grab our phone, what do you say? Everybody else's emergency becomes your urgency?
Everybody else's urgency should not and cannot be your emergency.
Yeah. So if you wake up with your clock, like your alarm clock on here, and you don't have the ability to hit it and set it back down, but you then pick up Facebook, Instagram, emails, whatever, you're instantly putting yourself into this negative cycle. And you might think, oh, Facebook's not that bad. Yes, it is. TikTok is that bad. Instagram's that bad. They are all that bad. Not to mention all of the stuff that's
You mean I
happening
might
to your
disagree
brain.
with what somebody says from a religious perspective or spiritual or
Political.
or gender or
Yeah, and
thought?
even if you say, "Oh, that just made me angry for a second. I just wrote one mean comment and now I'm over it." Are you really though? Because that's like festering somewhere inside of you and it's just going to build and build and build. So, biggest thing is don't wake up with the cell phone or have some willpower to turn off. If you have to do that, you don't have an alarm clock, turn off your clock and go on. Give your brain a time or the time to wake up.
Absolutely.
And then you can do things that actually bring you up another level and put you in a positive mode, right?
You need to prep yourself for the stress that you will incur.
Yeah.
You have to, because it's going to happen.
Like you shower your body for the day, you should shower your brain for the day with positive things. And what would those positive things be?
Absolutely. So, whether it be listening to something soothing or reading the Bible or doing a breathing exercise or just going and sitting out in your backyard and watching the sunrise or heaven forbid, sit down, chill out, relax, drink a glass of water.
Yeah.
Because it's arguably one of the most important things you can do for your body at the beginning of the day. But really setting your brain up so that when you incur stress throughout the course of the day, when you have a disgruntled coworker or a family member or a friend or a school calls you or your kids just won't listen to you and it's driving you Fruit Loops, well, your brain can respond in one of two ways. Either you're ready for it or you're not. And when you're not ready for it, we've all been there. Everybody's probably had one of those moments where they just couldn't take it anymore and the lid blew off. Well, you're in control of that. And how you set yourself up for it is going to determine how you respond. And starting it off properly in the morning is a really good way to set yourself up for a successful day.
Yeah. we have on our whiteboard over there, like writing 5 things that you're grateful for every day. That's
Gratitude is a
huge.
big one.
Yeah, gratitude, affirmations, meditation, things
And it's
like you
not
said.
just about, thinking happy, happy, joy, joy. It's really about getting yourself into a position where you believe what you're saying because, what you think about, you bring about, or what there's tons of sayings that go with it, but, what you focus on expands. And you only have so much real estate up here. And if any of it is taken by negativity, you might not think of it, but
Yeah.
that just means there's less space for positivity. So when it comes to social media or anything else, I want to
The
hit this
news.
one. I want to hit the news is another one. When it comes to the social media or the news, listen, if you have time to post negativity online, I would have to ask you what is it that you think you're doing in a positive manner for yourself? And
Or the world.
some people may say, well, I'm doing it for others, or it's not for me. It's because but really, you have to think of yourself first because, it's the old idea that, especially if you're a mom, a dad, a friend, a family member, the idea of when you're in an airplane, what do they always
Put your
say?
mask on first.
If
Yes.
the cabin is depressurized, make sure that when the oxygen masks drop down, that you do what? You put yours on first. Why? Because if you go down, you can't take care of others. So,
Yeah.
if you want to be a positive contributing member of society, or a positive contributing member or leader for your friends or your family or your children, if your parents, if your children want a positive person, you have to keep yourself in a positive area. And if you have time for negativity, you're minimizing the amount of your time and energy and focus that can be spent on positivity. And there's nothing to be gained from spreading negativity. Nothing.
Yeah. And like you said a couple of days ago about the liver, being in this angry state shuts down your liver function or decreases it significantly. So when we're getting angry about whoever doesn't agree with us on Facebook, you're literally hurting the physiology of your body. And who cares? Are you like ever gonna see these people on Facebook in your day-to-day lives?
There's
And
nothing
even
like a
if you
good
do, like, what is an argument online going to help
there's
you
nothing
with?
like a
So,
good armchair bandit argument.
yeah, I think we
We
beat
beat
this.
up we beat
Yeah,
up
we
on
beat it
Facebook
up.
a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay.
No, we're not.
We got to close this down. We're getting going way over on our time.
Really
So,
simple. The nervous
yeah,
system controls everything.
it really does. It's really not that difficult to understand.
We know you
Yeah.
don't want to add toxicity to the nervous system, and the best way is just by trying to minimize the toxicity that can ultimately affect it.
Yeah.
The brain controls everything in the body. It has to go through the spine. That's not a chiropractic thing. That's simply anatomy. If you don't like it, call God. It really your nervous system is your connection to all of your function.
Yeah.
And if you want to keep it at an optimal level,
We need to not be toxifying our body and detoxing.
yep.
And yeah, it's just so important. Brain sends signals down the spinal cord, out the nerves to the organs, tells them how to function. If there's an issue with the nervous system, it can literally affect anything in your entire body. People ask us all the time, what about my arm? What about my foot? What about this disease? That? It's all under control of the brain and the nervous system. So yes, this can affect anything. So these toxins that affect the nervous system could literally cause anything.
So, if
Right?
you ever hear the statement that it crosses the blood-brain barrier, that means that it's going to get into your brain, which then is going to affect your entire nervous system. So, heavy metals and toxicity absolutely can, and that's what we're ultimately trying to avoid.
Yeah.
And you won't be doing yourself any disservice by making sure that what you do is cleaner or better for you from a health perspective.
Yeah.
Um,
And while you're worried about detoxing, definitely need to be worried about the health of your spine and nervous system, which is why we ultimately exist, to make sure that people are taking care of their spine and nervous system. So if you have not had your spine checked, if it's been a long time, if you have friends or family that haven't, I would encourage you to get that system checked, or tell them to get it checked, because their nervous system is just as important as yours if you love and care about them. So
what was the before you do this
Okay.
last
Should
go
we go
ahead.
back?
That's okay. Yeah, you can
Okay.
go with that. What was the statement you said the other day about people who are healthy and their wishes?
Oh yeah. The people that are healthy have a million wishes, but if you lose your health, you have only one wish.
Yep.
So, I mean, think of the last time you were severely sick in bed and
What
it
did you
hurt.
want? You just
Well,
wanted to get
sometimes I have
better.
two wishes. I'm like, God, just take me now or make me
No.
better.
Yeah.
So action steps moving forward.
Keep it simple.
Yeah. I would definitely do little baby steps at a time.
Pick one.
Yeah.
Pick one, take a picture of this, write it down. And that's another thing. When you're going through this process, write everything down because if you write it down, it becomes a part of you. It's just another way of learning and remembering it. But
And aren't you more likely to succeed if, or to like take action if you write things down?
that's a whole nother talk.
Okay. Maybe that will be part of our
But yes,
mindset
you are
talk.
more likely. You shout it out loud. I like say it, think it.
We are detoxing.
Number one, cut processed foods, check your home, practice peace, sweat more, keep your spine aligned. Practicing peace, that's reducing stress and making sure you take care of your mind. But even if you just pick one of these five things, you will be doing something to move yourself in the right direction.
Yeah.
And when it comes to health, you can do nothing and you can let health deteriorate on its own because we're all only headed in one direction. Or you can do something and give yourself the best opportunity at having a healthy future.
Yeah. So I think we hit all of it. We went
So.
way over on time, about double. So hopefully we'll keep next week shorter. Might be hard because it's nutrition.
That'll be the
Yeah, tune in next week we're hopefully going to be having this done on Friday. So tune in to watch our nutrition talk next. If you guys have any questions at all, Dr. Nicole at Max Living Southside. That's Dr. Nicole, Nicole at maxlivingsouthside.com. Dr. Jim at maxlivingsouthside.com. Feel free to email us, call, or smoke signals work too. So thank you guys so much and
Have a good day.
happy healing.